We were just sitting at anchor and heard a massive bang. There's something kind of deja vu about it.
I discovered that's a meter.
You can tell how cheap we are when we're like, ooh, don't want to spend, how much is it for a new chafe guard? I don't know, $20 or something. And I'm like, no, I can save money, look.
I think it's a good idea to do this right now, but it is currently blowing 40 knots.
Oh my goodness, patrons, you are amazing. Then I realized that I just linked one bow to the other.
What?
Last time on Red Seas, we sailed up to St. Martin and found ourselves accidentally in the middle of a racecourse with super fast boats flying at us from all angles. After a long 15-month wait, we collected our brand new laptop and then installed an electric winch to our dinghy davits. We accidentally killed our engine starter battery, but now we can lift our dinghy with just one finger. We thought we'd take some time off, but then this happened. Well, that was exciting. We were just sitting at anchor and heard a massive bang and discovered that a huge gust of wind just completely snapped our bridle and we were only attached on one side. You happy we fixed it?
Yeah, for now. It was quite funny because I was just pulling the hatch down on the forward cabin and just hit the deck. There was this weird bang. And I was like, I can't pull that fast. And then I heard you rushing to the front.
At this point, the wind stopped playing fair and unfortunately drowned out everything that Ian was trying to say. I wasn't really listening, but you can see here where the line has snapped just under the force of the wind and the mess it made up our port hull when it sprayed this green slime everywhere. As soon as we realized what was happening, we grabbed an extra mooring line and tied it on to make a temporary bridle. I think Ian is explaining here what a bridle is for anyone who doesn't know. So basically, it is a Y-shaped line that connects our two bows down to the anchor chain. It effectively makes our boat longer in a kind of diamond shape, and it just means that we don't wriggle around quite as much in the wind.
Of course, as with all things cruising, when you need to fix something, you need to move. So we're heading south to a local chandlery we know, in the hope that they might have spare line that we can buy to build a brand new bridle.
It's such a nice sail to do at sunset because we're not having to go very far, and when we're going this way it is always downwind, so just pop the genoa out and then just get to float along with the waves. So I think we're doing about 6 knots right now. It's like crazy gusty right now, so we had a gust up to I think 37 knots just as we were pulling the sail out. There's some system kind of right over Canada and North America right now, and we're just seeing the edge of it. So we've had about 2 weeks of sustained 40 knots at anchor, and just, yeah, crazy winds doing what they don't normally do, so everyone's kind of just hiding out and trying to find space to make sure they're safe. We're kind of more aware of it now that we've only got one line on our bridle. So that'll be fixed soon. Obviously weren't planning on replacing our bridle, but now that it's broken, we're trying to use it as the opportunity to make it a little bit better. So we have just been reading up, asking everybody we know, any kind of physics and maths about the design of a bridle and what length and which angles are optimal. So we're basically just going to go with as long as we can afford, that is practically going to still fit in our system so that we can tie it up when we're underway. We're hoping that that means we won't fishtail around as much when we're just sitting at anchor. And also, the longer it is, there'll be more kind of shock absorption, so if we do bounce in the wind, it'll be less noticeable. That's our thinking, and yeah, we're going to try that. I then just have to remember how to splice, which I haven't done for a year. It's not going to be neat, but hopefully functional. Success?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I'm holding our entire bridle in a small cardboard box.
feel like we should have got more line. That doesn't look enough.
It really doesn't, but we went with something called megabraid, which is, well, some people know what this is, some people don't. I'd not really come across it, but it's basically uses more cores to make up the same diameter line, but it means it's a bit more stretchy, which is what we want in our bridle, because if the wind catches us, we're going to bounce back on the bridle. Well, this will take all of that load and just disperse it smoothly into the boat. So, yeah.
Now we just have the challenge of learning how to splice it.
That's your job.
Thanks.
Yeah, this could be interesting. But yeah, let's get back to Indy and, I don't know, start chopping this up and see what we end up with. Hopefully something that looks a bit like a Y-shaped bridle by the end of it. We'll see. And I got your homework.
Yeah, Renee, the guy in the shop, gave me a bit to practice on to see if I could remember how to splice 3-strand. And I did remember. I was quite pleased with that, having not done it for a year. But he did the tricky bit of starting it off. And it doesn't actually matter anyway, because now I've got to learn a completely different technique. I think that has 6 strands, and they're all double. So there's 12 bits of line that could go in the wrong direction, but what could possibly go wrong? Oh my goodness, patrons, you are amazing. We just got back to the boat and some of our patrons, Mike and Virginie, are just anchored right next to us. And they heard that we just got new line to make a bridle, and they have lent us their spare bridle so that we can take the old one off and have a much easier time of like trying to build this whole new thing.
Not only that, Virginie is incredible and she gave us desserts. How cool is this? She's made these herself.
Yeah, some kind of frozen passion fruit cheesecakey thing, and yeah, they look amazing.
These are mine. Which ones are yours?
I get the bridle, do I?
Good luck. Yum, yum, yum. Posh.
Very posh.
It's got a thing on top.
Verdict?
Get on with the bridle, I'll let you know how this goes. Oh, that's so good.
What you doing?
Well, I'm just measuring, now that we've got this huge line, I figured I should double check how it's going to hang when we actually put it in place. So, making sure it's not too long. Thankfully, it's maybe a little bit on the long side, but not by much. This is going to work.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I reckon if we start from one end, and then start that end, and we can measure up to the middle, we'll probably end up having enough for the short leg, somehow.
Okay, and just replace the whole thing.
And then that way, yeah. Not that your work from the short leg you did before isn't valid.
Hey, it was beautiful.
It, so it's very impressive. It's the one bit that's held up well.
There you go, exactly. It's really weird that we're in exactly the same spot when we replaced that little extension leg last time. There's something kind of deja vu about it.
Maybe it's something about this anchorage.
Ba, ba, ba. Using your standard unit of measure there.
This is, yeah. Okay, I'm not the only person. You laugh at me every time. Okay, so when I was, what, 18, I guess, I worked in a warehouse with lots of cables and things for concerts. And you had to cut new cables, and they were always measured up in meters. I discovered that's a meter. It's a perfect meter, there to there.
I want to go and get the tape measure and actually test your theory.
Guaranteed.
You're not allowed to move your fingers.
I won't. It's a meter. Everyone knows it's a meter.
Oh my goodness.
See? It's a meter.
No, you're a centimetre out.
No, that's just going to
Look
make my
at
hand grind. Like. So it's a meter. Have I proved my point now? You're going to
you're
tease me
so
for
smug.
I knew I was right. I'm always right. What do you always say?
Ian's always right.
That's right.
Okay, what's the plan?
It's boat yoga come power tool mania. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Sounds like you're kind of fun.
Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so we have this lent bridle, which is great. It's slightly too small. So we've already threaded it back to the anchor locker and kind of hooked it onto these cleats just temporarily. And then what we need to do is get the old bridle, what's left of it, out of the way. Unfortunately, the way that's attached to the boat is by shackles. So shackles are these metal round things with these pins that you can usually unscrew, and then they come out like so. Unfortunately, the shackle that they used on this one is either the pin is bent or just years of abuse means that it is not coming out. I've tried a few things. I've fought with a shackle key, which is one of these quirky little guys. I've tried with pliers. I've hit it with a hammer. It's just not moving. So there's a wonderful chart online about, you know, there's the right tool, then there's the next tool up, then there's a hammer, then there's a saw, then there's the angle grinder. So we're going to do that. The only problem is that, yet another problem is the gap we have to work with is only slightly wider than the blade that I have to cut this stainless steel metal shackle with. And if I miss, I end up cutting into Indy and making a big hole, or possibly cutting into the crossbar which supports the whole rig.
Yeah, please don't do that.
So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a juggle. Step one, make lots of sparks and loud noises, and hopefully not sink the boat.
Yes, please.
Sparks galore.
Ian is angle grinding up at the front. I'm just going to have to try and keep us in vaguely the right position. I need to take the tension off the bridle so that he can cut the shackle away without it just being pulled by the line. And then as soon as he's actually cut it away, I just need to make sure that we keep facing into the wind so that the chain doesn't then, you know, swing around and kind of cut our holes and stuff. At least the wind isn't too bad today. 24 knots.
Good. Just had the blade explode in my hand.
Oof.
Ouch.
Something popped at the front.
Okay.
We were drifting back and I couldn't retain it.
Okay, let me have a look. Gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's down there now somewhere.
So it looks like our 24 knots of wind just pinged the shackle out of place. And even though we bust our grinder, we've got the bridle off, I guess.
Okay, bridle is loose in the water.
Okay. Lifted the chain in now and Ian's taking the bridle off. This is the point where we have least control, because the chain is coming right up to our windlass locker, which is right underneath our trampolines in the middle of the front of the boat. So at this point, we just need to shackle on the temporary bridle, and then hopefully we can rest a little bit while we make the new one.
This will become a new shackle for the new bridle. For now, do a bit of a no-no. Attach the shackle to a shackle. I had the detailed part to do now.
Okay.
One side of the bridle is on and attached to the short leg. The other side is not attached yet. But I need to get the pin out before I can attach this side to the boat, yeah? And I didn't lose the angle grinder. Give you an update?
Yeah.
Straight down.
Well, that's always a win.
I tried to grab it and it dropped.
Woohoo! Okay, shackle is out. Time to put the temporary one in.
Good news.
Good job.
Okay, lowering anchor. So I've got the anchor on the original leg, and then the two new ones are shackled at the front.
Perfect. All right, so now we're just going to take the weight of the bridle and check that the temporary one is okay. And then we can take a pause.
Okay, so job done. Half done.
So the temporary bridle seems to be holding up kind of well. So at least that gives us a pause. We can work out the next step. So we've taken off the temporary line that we just had on for like 1 overnight, 2 overnights. And one of the 3 strands is actually already chafed right through. So I'm glad that we didn't leave that on for too much longer, because that would not have been fun to have had a second bridle breaking. So now I want to keep these 2 thimbles on this loop. So I'm going to have to work out how to like cut through this old line that's all broken. And then I'm just going to splice the new line around that thimble in place. So now that it's up on the boat and out of the way, it's going to be so much easier. I thought I was going to be like in the dinghy leaning over. So yeah, we just have to work out how we can get the moldy old rope off that thimble That might be a job for you.
It's a job for a hacksaw, I think.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, this is the old extension leg that I so lovingly made last year. And I was just taking the shackles off to like rinse them in vinegar so that we can use them again. And then I was like, oh, there's a chafe guard here. I'll just take this off and reuse it on the new one.
That is disgusting.
You can tell how cheap we are when we're like, oh, we don't want to spend, how much is it for a new chafe guard? I don't know, $20 or something. And I'm like, no, I can save money. Look, here,
Hey.
it's fine.
I mean, it's fine. It's done its job. I think it's served its purpose.
It has. I was thinking, oh, we can't use it because it's white and the new rope is black, but you can't tell this is white.
Uh-huh.
I could put it on inside out.
You know the new rope doesn't smell bad.
Yeah, this is really quite foul. And there's some little creepy crawlies on it. So there we go, new pet.
What are you up to?
If you had come and asked me like 10 minutes ago, I'd be like, oh, I'm so nearly done. Today's gone so well. We nearly have a bridle. And then I realized that I just linked one bow to the other.
What? You linked a bow to the other bow. You know that the bridle is supposed to be Y-shaped, right?
Look how neat it is, though.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, so I just got the wrong end of the line. This goes from one bow, and then this end should have been around on this one, basically on this ring. So this is like the short extension piece that goes down to the chain.
Okay.
And then that goes off to one bow, and this goes off to another. But I forgot to
Actually
put it on
connect
the ring.
it. And it doesn't go on afterwards.
No, it does not. So I'm having to undo this whole thing.
Oh, you're kidding.
Like reverse engineer my crazy color scheme, which makes sense to me and only me and nobody else in the world. And luckily, it's like I've only chopped off about this much line. So
Oh, wow.
I can undo it and we don't need to like end up with a shorter bridle, but it's a little bit soul destroying. Like my fingers are getting so sore from just like constantly working this line to make a hole and poke something through. And I was just at the stage where I was like, wow, I've only got one more left to do. That's great. Look, it doesn't go anywhere.
You've made a rope.
I've made a really lovely rope.
So that'll be this evening's entertainment. At least she's smiling. I would not be smiling right now.
It's going to be so good when it's done. I am really I'm really pleased with the fact that I could actually do it though. Like that looks neat. I'm really happy with it. It doesn't look like I made it. It doesn't look too homemade. Yeah.
I think that looks better than the example in the shop that I saw.
Yeah, no, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I just need to plow on and get this last bit done, and then maybe tomorrow we can attach it.
Look how pretty it is. Okay, why are you looking nervous?
I'm pleased. It is finished.
She made a thing.
I made a thing, and I did redo this last one this morning about 6 times because it wasn't as neat as I want, and I am a ridiculous perfectionist. And then we measured out the whole thing, and it was 1 centimeter shorter than the other side, and I was so tempted to redo it all, but you said it's allowed. So we're gonna go and attach it now.
That's quite exciting. Look at it. It's huge.
I know, it's really heavy.
Okay. And Brownie is already guilt-tripping me because I think it's a good idea to do this right now, but it is currently blowing 40 knots. So who knows how this will work out? It can't go that wrong, can it? The anchor's not coming up. It can't go that wrong.
At least the anchor's already set.
Yeah, so we're fine. Fine. Easy. Let's do it.
I don't want to. Yeah, we're not doing it in this wind. I might at least wait till it's 30 knots rather than 40.
Yeah, we're not that patient. So after several discussions back and forth, we decided to just go for it and see how it works out. So we're pushing, 35 knots, give or take, with gusts of 40 something. But how hard can it be? I mean, really, it's just 2 bits of string. So yeah, we've already run the new bridle into position. We just need to undo the shackles on the temporary bridle, let that fall into the sea, retrieve it, and then put the new bridle in its place.
thread's already attached.